Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's been overdue a video of mine for you. So welcome, you legends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to a video. Today's video I'm really excited about. I've been really writing printmaking lately, especially lino printing, and I've kind of thought of, look, I can't take entire credit of it, and I'll have a chat about some of my inspiration. I've had this great idea to kind of try and, I do really expressive drawing, but then my lino prints are really super graphic, and I kind of wanted to meld the two together. So I've tried it already and I really like how it's turned out. So I thought, we're getting on together, we're gonna film it, and you're gonna come with me for this journey. Now I had the idea to meld the two, but I just didn't know how. So there's a lady I follow on YouTube called Laura Boswell. If you don't already follow her, go ahead and follow her. I think it's been probably 6 months since she's posted, so hopefully everything's right and she starts posting again soon. I've only recently discovered her like in the last month or so. So she does basically these semi-abstract landscapes with lino printing, and the way that she captures this real brush mark type things is by actually just doing the brush marks and stuff straight on the lino and then just carving around it. So we're going to do that today. I've already had a go at it. So here's my galah. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this done and printed. You can't really see it that well on that, but here is the print. So I'll do a little bit of a close up here. So I love how I was able to get that real sketchy ink drawing look to it, and I thought it was amazing. Now I've been working on this one, which is a cow one, done in the same way, and I thought I'd already started this one. I thought I was going to do a YouTube video, so we're just going to do a whole another one together, another one together. Not this big though, that's big. So feel free to join me. This is not exactly a beginner's lino printing video. If that's something that interests you, let me know in the comments. I can always do one. It's probably down the track anyway. So let's have a chat about what I'm going to use to do this. So the first thing is my lino. Now, I have decided to start moving into the professional grey lino with the Hessian backing. I just refuse to buy any until I've used up the lino I've got. So the current lino that I'm using all the time is, you may have seen it again if you follow me on Instagram, is this green stuff. It's Marie's. It's super cheap and you can get really big sheets of it, which I really love. Like that was like, this is like a quarter of one of their big sheets. So I like that idea of having that flexibility of size. It's not bad. It's for its price point, which is super cheap. It is actually not a bad lino, but I am going to move to the more professional stuff because I'm really getting serious about my lino printing. So today, this is what I'm using. If you're going to do this with me, you can use any lino. You don't have to use this lino. You don't have to use professional. I've got this white easy carved stuff as well. I use that in my classes all the time. Great beginners one. I just find it very hard because it is so soft to get those really super fine details. And what I find with this strategy so far is that I need to be able to get those I need to have a lot of control over my tools. The softer stuff is a lot harder to do that. And if you slip, you end up cutting a whole chunk out. Whereas this, you don't need an iron for it or anything to make it softer, but it's harder to stuff up. So we need the lino, naturally. We're going to use some sandpaper because we're going to sand our lino block down. I'll talk about that in a minute. You need whatever you're going to apply. So for me, I use ink. So I've just got Indian ink. This is just Winsor & Newton. I've got a massive bottle, so I put it in a little thing like this so that I can dip into it. I've got a brush. So this is just a little brush. I think I got this off Temu, really cheap. So it's just a really fine brush. And I've also got a dip pen. I'm finding that the dip pen is my favorite for this. And you'll kind of see, I'll have a play around with both and show you what happens with it. So it just depends. If you're doing this with me, have a look how mine turns out and then decide if you want to change yours. I don't have big brush strokes. So Laura Boswell has these big broad brush strokes. Mine doesn't so much. I just kind of wanted that sketchy kind of look to it. So whatever you want to use. India ink's probably better for it because it's more permanent ink. Just FYI, that's just the Winsor & Newton one. I already said that. Carving implements. I have one single professional lino carving tool. It's a V. It's my only one, and I hated it when I first got it. I love it now. For this, for some reason, it just seems to work really well with this. My other one of choice is the Speedball, which is cheaper because it's like this single one cost me $30, whereas in Australia, whereas the Speedball's $40, but you get a heap of ends, a heap of different tips, which you kind of keep in the butt of it. So really economical. You want your basic or whatever you need to print. Now, again, up to you. Your tools might be different to mine. I have a glass sheet that I originally purchased because I was getting into making watercolors. It lasted a day, that hobby, and I have this glass sheet. It's actually really good for rolling out my ink, so I use it all the time for that. And actually, the glass muller I got with it to mull it, I actually now use as a what do you call it? When you put your paper down, you've inked your block, put paper, and I can't think of what it's called. I use this now. It actually works brilliantly. It's easy to clean. I've also got these ones, which I think this one cost me $10. The problem is, because of the foam, if I get ink on it, it's pretty well stuffed, because that means that every time I use it on the back of paper, it gets the ink on it, on the paper. And I try to sell these. So if you're doing this as a hobby, that doesn't matter. But trying to sell them, bit of a pain there. Barren! A barren, that's it. Barren. So you need a barren or a spoon. I've seen people use spoons. I find spoons really annoying because the surface area is a lot less. Annoys me. Your brayer, rolling out your ink. Palette knife, you might not need that. I know my black ink is in a tub, so I need to scoop it out. That's what that's for. And my ink. There's so many different ones you can use, inks. Because again, I'm trying to make a really good business out of this, I use the Caligo Safe Wash inks. So they are oil based, but you can wash them up with soap and water. I've got a heap of different colours. That's just the one I grabbed out of the drawer just then. But you can use water-based inks. So this is just from the SD. If you get their beginner kit, this is what it comes in it. I've also got like the Speedball fabric inks. They're really great for paper as well. So really, it's up to you. Whatever you use for this. Like I said, this is not a beginner's video on it. If you've got some questions about that, feel free to pop them below. That's the ink I'm going to use today. And if you know how I can get my hand on their new colours, because they haven't been released in Australia yet, please let me know, because I'm desperate for that mustard yellow. You know what I mean? It's pretty nice. That's pretty much all of it. I'm going to put you down over the top, and we're going to have a look at how I'm going to prep my lino for the ink. Okay, so we're going to prep our lino block. Now, and this step is actually really important because, especially with the Marie's lino, it comes with like a really smooth coating and the ink just beads up on it and you can't get your brush strokes and things like that in there, which is a pain in the bum. So this is, I think 400 grit sandpaper that I've been using. I've got a finer one. Oh no, that's 400. So this one is not as fine, I can never remember which way it goes. I think this must be 200 grit. Is it 200 is rougher? And that's 400. This one is really fine. I have not found an issue. I thought it would be. And just basically, oh, I've already started sanding this side. I just basically go at it in a circular motion to kind of take that first layer off. And you can kind of feel when it's not as smooth anymore. Can I also recommend you use, just keep yourself safe for this. I should be wearing either a respirator or at least a face mask while doing this. And then once I've finished that, I'm actually going to take it inside. I'm going to wash it and let it dry completely. Okay, so I've got my lino sanded. I've washed it. And it's completely dry because you don't want it to be wet, otherwise the ink will run. A bit like watercolor, unless that's what you want. That's a whole nother kettle of fish, I reckon. So I've got this smaller piece because I just want to show you some of the things that I've discovered. So I've also got this hog bristle brush. I just wanted to show you some of the effects you can get. So I'll zoom in a touch. So we'll have a look at some of the effects you can get. And I also have, I'll show you in a minute. Oh! So with this hog bristle brush, it's dry. So with just a little bit on it, you can get quite these dry brush mark effects. This is more of a synthetic brush. So you kind of get more just a regular brush line. When it's dry, it does give you that brush mark effect, but because it's quite small, I find those little tiny details quite difficult to manage. I think the dip pen is where it happens. Now this is just a cheapy one. This is Montmartre. Got it from my local $2 shop. So you can see it's quite wide at the tip, but it's also got this big area where it can fit quite a bit of ink. So and the dip pen, literally you dip it in and then you can, so you could get quite a bit of ink on quite thin lines, or I can really pull it. And you see I'm holding the pen quite far back. I don't want a great deal of control. I want this really super expressive. And I just kind of like the variations you can get with it. I do really like the dip pen. FYI, just in case you haven't noticed. Now, I did leave a little bit on the edge here unfiled, because I just want to show you, like when you, oh, big blob of ink. When you do it on the bit that's not filed, you can see it kind of, so yeah, you can see it's kind of beaded up on the surface, whereas the bits here where it has been filed is quite clear exactly where I have placed my pen or my brush down, and it has kept all of those forms really well, but not where I haven't sanded. So it's super important with this one that you sand the surface. Now this is the block I did. I accidentally spilled some ink, but I wiped it off. Doesn't matter. If you do make a mistake with the ink, you can just sand it back again. I did that with my cow. I sanded it back. It does kind of, it doesn't come off really well, but I could have sanded it even more. You can see it's quite dirty, but that doesn't matter because I'm carving all of that away. I could have sanded it even more to get it really clean. Now at this point, yes, you could grab a pencil and pencil out. I haven't been. But today, I'm just actually going to really loosely outline where I want, like the head and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm actually doing a chicken today. Again, because I want that really looseness, I'm just going to super quickly kind of sketch in where I want things. Now, this may completely change. Like I said to you, I don't normally sketch, and as you can see, this sketch is super loose. because I actually don't even mind if my sketch is a little off. It doesn't really matter. That's what I like about this really expressive. I just kind of wanted to know roughly where it is. So that's good enough for me for that chicken head. And I'm gonna literally start applying. So I am gonna start with a brush. I don't know if I will regret this or not. I don't know. We'll see. I've just dried it off because it was in water. And basically, as I apply, I want to be looking at the reference picture more than my drawing. Although I'm now regretting, maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. I'm going to put a little bit more. I'm not going to do the entire drawing in the brush. Where's that eyeball? Yeah, I'm going to do the rest in my dip pen. And this is the beauty of it. You do what works for you. This works for me. I have done previous ones in just the dip pen. And I've just been playing around. I am in no way an expert on this yet. But I've had some success thus far, which is really cool. And so what I tend to do to try and get this real sketchy feel, I actually go over my lines a few times. This one single line, I'll go over it a few times. But then also, so that I want that. Here's my eyeball. So down here, like I might have a line like this where I've done that. But then I might go back over it and just kind of add some sketchy bits to it, some actual scribbles. I'm adding scribbles to it.
Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth.
Okay, I just wanted to show you guys, I was doing my sketch of my chicken and I didn't like how much ink I put down here and down here. I didn't like how dark it was. I kind of like that line drawing look. So basically I wiped away as much of the ink as I could before it dried, and I wanted to show you exactly what I do when this happens, because a lot of it's not planned. So I've just got a little strip of sandpaper. This is the 400 grit. I would rather the rougher grit one, but I don't actually have any of that here. This is just what I've got. So you can see the bits I want to do, so I'm just gonna sand it. Now I had to let it completely dry as well before I did this as well. Yeah, see, look, so you can see that it's sanding up some of that ink. There you go. Like, and you can keep going back until there's none there at all, but that's pretty good for me. I like that. You see the eyes just here. Just kind of what it just didn't quite work for me. I like how this has come out, and I like how some of these marks have come out, but this I wasn't fully happy with.
The world seems small. We can sit together.
Okay, so now that I've sanded these bits back, it's not perfect by any means. I do just have a paintbrush with some water on it, just to get rid of some of that. Just to kind of wash it down. And I've got this paper towel that I used yesterday. I'm just going to dry that again before I go applying any more ink. So you could see I've either this had ink on it still, or I've just smudged what was there. Maybe the water activated the ink a little bit. But I kind of smudged it a little bit, but I could still I can still see some of the lines. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna keep refining with my dip pen. Look, I don't actually know where I've put my dip pen. So I'm actually going to go back to the brush again, which I left in the water overnight and is now bent, but that's fine. It's the story of my life, really. I'll find it as soon as I'm finished. But anyway, so I'm gonna go back to this and I'm gonna actually use it a little bit more like my dip pen I did.
The truth around you, from a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
And look what I just found, my dip pen, which was in my water, funnily enough. What an incomplete. Anyway. Okay, so I'm actually gonna call that sketch done. It's entirely up to you. In my graphic linos, I do a lot more contrast, but in this, for me, the hero is the lines and the line work, the sketchy line work. I want it to look like one of my sketches from my sketchbook, basically. So for me, and that's why I erased these, because they got too dark. So that line quality was kind of gone entirely. I predominantly use my professional one with the V. This is not the best practice, because you want to use a variety of them to help with the mark making. I actually might start carving with this. So I've got the smaller U on this one and then the larger U on the actual speedball handle. I think I mentioned at the beginning, I can't be bothered changing the thing. So I had this SD handle. I don't really like the SD blade, so I just put the speedball blade in the SD handle. When I'm carving, I try to go around my marks with the small one, or really thin lines, and then I flesh the rest of it out. So you can see I've actually got quite a bit of carving down here to do. So I'm going to start down here because all of this ink's really dry. It's only up here where it's not.
I'm just sitting here, I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together, it's so beautiful. You and me, we meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. A step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
So excited, finally have a day off for work and it's perfect weather for printing. So I've actually finished carving my chicken. I'm pretty happy with it. It actually looks really cool. Sometimes it goes through a bit of a phase where you're like, oh, is this gonna work? I like it. I can't wait to actually print it. Now let me have a chat to you about what some of the stuff I've got. I've got that glass plate, my roller. I am going to be using palette knife to actually mix a colour because I've got phthalo blue, but I kind of want to lighten it a little bit, so I'm going to add some white to it. I've also got my paper ready to roll. I've got one extra piece which kind of got creased, which I actually laid down. I put it down, place my block on top of it and kind of trace around it so it's in the same, roughly the same spot every time, so that when I print, you know, yeah, they all look like they're pretty much the same thing. I've also added little, these are just tabs that I got from the Turns Burton, when I got the Turns Burton thingamajigs for doing reduction prints. I do this because I peg mine on a little indoor line, and I found that my pegs were creasing the paper, so I thought I need to avoid that. So I put these on so I can actually peg onto these, and it's perfect, works well. So I think we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to put you down so you can see what is happening, and yeah, let's do it.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be.
It's done. All finished, completed. Check her out. I'll do a bit of a close-up little thing for you guys. But I love her. I think she's cool. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe my video. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to be posting a lot more regularly. So yeah, thanks for joining me on this trip.